I'm standing in my childhood bedroom, staring at a photograph I haven't looked at in years. It's the 5 of us at Disneyland. Mum, Dad, my older brother Ryan, me and her. Aunt Claire. Except she wasn't really our aunt. She was Mum's best friend since college, the woman who taught me how to braid my hair, who brought homemade cookies to every one of my soccer games, who cried harder than anyone except us when Mum was diagnosed. In this photo, Dad's arm is around Mum's waist, and Aunt Claire is standing just close enough that if you didn't know better, you'd think it was innocent. But I know better now, because 3 days ago I found out that for the last 8 years while Mum was fighting cancer, losing her hair, throwing up from chemo, dying, Dad was sleeping with the woman who held Mum's hand through every hospital visit. 8 years. And the worst part, they thought they'd gotten away with it. Dad stood at Mum's funeral 2 months ago, gave this beautiful eulogy about eternal love and soulmates, and then went home to the same house he'd been sneaking Claire into for nearly a decade. He cried at the podium. He cried. And people called him a devoted husband. I wanted to vomit. But Ryan and I didn't say anything, not at the funeral, not at the wake, not during the endless parade of casseroles and condolence cards. We smiled. We thanked people for coming. We played the role of grieving children, and the entire time we were planning something else. See, my brother Ryan, he's a software engineer, brilliant, methodical, and when he gets angry, he gets precise. And me, I'm a corporate investigator. I get paid to find things people don't want found. Together, we're a very dangerous combination. So when Dad thought he was moving on with his life, preparing to introduce Claire publicly as his new girlfriend, getting ready to rebrand himself as a widow who'd found love again, we were preparing something very different. 1 weekend. That's all it took. 1 weekend to hack into his company's internal servers, expose every detail of the affair to his entire 40,000-person workforce, trigger an ethics investigation, tank his stock options, and watch his perfect little second act crumble into dust. By Monday morning, Dad had lost his VP position, his reputation, his social standing, and any chance of happiness with the woman he'd chosen over our dying mother. And the beautiful thing, we never even had to show our faces. This is the story of how we made him pay for every lie, every betrayal, every moment he stole from the woman who loved him until her very last breath. If you've ever wanted to see a cheater get exactly what they deserve, hit that like button right now, subscribe to this channel and strap in, because what Ryan and I did was calculated, devastating, and honestly, the most satisfying thing I've ever been part of. Let's get into it. Growing up, we were the family everyone envied. Dad, Michael, was a VP of operations at Technova Industries, one of the biggest tech firms in the Pacific Northwest. Corner office, 6-figure salary, the kind of guy who wore expensive suits and closed million-dollar deals before lunch. Mom, Catherine, was a pediatric nurse, the kind who remembered every kid's name, who stayed late to comfort scared parents, who baked birthday cakes for her co-workers just because. Ryan and I had everything. Good schools, family vacations, a house with a pool. But more than that, we had love. Real love. The kind where your parents still held hands at the movies, where Dad would dance with Mum in the kitchen while she was making dinner, where they'd leave us little notes in our lunchboxes. I genuinely believed we were blessed. And Aunt Claire. She was part of the package, the bonus family member. She'd been Mum's roommate in college, stood as her maid of honor at the wedding, became our godmother. She was over at our house 3-4 times a week, holiday dinners, birthday parties, random Tuesday nights. She was family. I never questioned it. Why would I? But here's the thing about lies that big. They leave cracks. Tiny hairline fractures that you don't notice until the whole structure comes down. Looking back now, with the gift of hindsight and rage, I can see them everywhere. The way Dad's phone was always face down on the table. The way Claire started dressing differently around year 3 of Mum's diagnosis. More makeup, tighter clothes, a new perfume that Dad once absent-mindedly said smelled nice, the way they'd volunteer to run errands together. "We'll grab the groceries, Katie, you rest." The way Dad started working late more often, right around the time Claire got divorced. The way he stopped looking Mum in the eyes. God, I hate that I didn't see it. But Mum was dying, and all of my attention was on her. The treatments, the decline, the awful calculus of counting down someone's last good days. We were so focused on losing her that we didn't realise Dad had already left. Mom died on a Tuesday in January, pancreatic cancer. 18 months from diagnosis to death. 18 months of hope, horror, and eventual hospice. Ryan and I were with her at the end, holding her hands, playing her favourite Fleetwood Mac songs. Dad was there too, crying, telling her he loved her, promising he'd take care of us. Liar. The funeral was massive. Mum touched so many lives. There were nurses from her hospital, parents of kids she'd cared for, neighbours, friends. The church was standing room only. And Dad, he played the devastated widower perfectly. Claire played the grieving best friend. They even stood on opposite sides of the room as if they couldn't bear to be near each other in their shared sorrow. I remember thinking, at least they have each other to lean on. At least Dad has someone who understands what he's lost. I'm an idiot. 2 months after the funeral, Dad sat Ryan and me down. "I need to talk to you both about something," he said. We were in the living room of our childhood home. Mum's reading chair was still in the corner, her book still bookmarked on the side table. "I know this is hard," he continued, doing this whole rehearsed thing, "but life goes on, and I think your mother would want me to be happy." My stomach dropped. "I've been spending time with Claire," he said, "and we've realised that we have feelings for each other." Feelings. "It's new," he added quickly. "It started after your mum passed. Grief brought us together. We both loved her so much, and that shared loss, it created a bond." Ryan's jaw was clenched so tight I thought his teeth would crack. "I wanted you to hear it from me before I introduce her as my girlfriend publicly. I know it might seem fast, but when you've lost as much as we have, you learn not to waste time." Girlfriend. The word hung in the air like poison. I couldn't speak. My throat had closed completely. Ryan stood up. "I need to go," he said quietly. "Son, I need to go." He left. I followed. We sat in his car in the driveway, both of us shaking. "He's lying," Ryan said finally. "There's no way this just started. No way." "You think they were together before?" "I know they were." Ryan's always been the logical one, the one who needs proof. So when he says he knows something, it means he's already 10 steps ahead. "I'm going to find out," he said, "and if I'm right, if they did this while Mum was alive, while she was dying—" He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. Ryan started with Dad's laptop. Dad wasn't tech-savvy. He used the same password for everything, Mum's maiden name plus his birth year. Ryan had his laptop unlocked in under 30 seconds. What we found made me physically ill. Emails, hundreds of them, going back 8 years. The earliest one was dated 6 months after Mum's diagnosis. "Claire, I can't stop thinking about you. I know this is wrong, but when I'm with you, I feel alive again. Katie's illness is killing me, and you're the only light I have. I love you." Emma read that line over and over until the words blurred. Katie's illness is killing me. Not Katie's illness is killing her. Not I'm terrified of losing my wife. It's killing me. There were photos, the two of them at hotels, at restaurants in cities Dad claimed were work trips, at Claire's apartment, the same apartment where Ryan and I had helped her move boxes, where we'd painted her living room, where we'd had dinner a dozen times while Dad was supposedly working late. There were text messages, thousands, sexting, planning meetups, complaining about having to keep up appearances. One message from Claire sent 3 weeks before Mom died. "Just a little longer, baby. Then we can finally be together for real. I'm so tired of pretending." Dad's response, "I know, me too. Soon. Soon." They were waiting for her to die. Ryan and I sat in his apartment, surrounded by printed evidence, and I remember the exact moment something inside me snapped. It wasn't sadness anymore. It wasn't grief. It was rage. Pure, crystallized, absolute rage. "We have to tell people," I said. "We have to show everyone what they did." Ryan nodded slowly. "We will, but not yet." "What do you mean?" He pulled up Dad's company website on his laptop. Dad's not just some random guy. He's a VP at Technova, 40,000 employees, publicly traded, big corporate ethics policies. So Technova has a very strict fraternization policy and an even stricter policy about conduct that reflects poorly on the company. Ryan's fingers were flying across the keyboard. "If we do this right, we don't just embarrass him, we destroy him." I leaned forward. "I'm listening." Ryan spent the next week mapping out Dad's digital footprint. Turns out, Dad had been using his company email for some of the affair coordination. Huge mistake. Technova's servers archive everything, and while Dad thought he'd been careful, he'd actually left a breadcrumb trail that any decent IT investigator could follow. Which is where I came in. My job as a corporate investigator means I know every loophole, every legal grey area, every way to find information that people think they've buried. I pulled Dad's credit card statements going back 8 years. Every hotel charge, every dinner, every business trip that lined up perfectly with Claire's own travel history. I cross-referenced his calendar with hers. They'd been meeting up at least twice a month, sometimes more. I found receipts for jewellery he'd never given Mom, for lingerie, for romantic weekend getaways. I documented everything, and then Ryan found the nuclear option. "His company laptop," Ryan said, grinning in a way that would have scared me if we weren't on the same side. "He brought it home last weekend, left it in his study." "Can you access it?" "Already did, cloned the hard drive remotely, and guess what's on it?" "What?" "Personal photos, personal emails, all mixed in with work files, which means he's been using company equipment for personal use, another violation." "Can we get into the company servers?" Ryan's smile widened. Dad's login credentials are saved on his laptop, and he has administrative access to several internal systems because of his VP role. I felt my own smile forming. "So we could theoretically upload documents to shared drives, send company-wide emails, access the ethics hotline database." "Yes, we could theoretically do all of that." "That's illegal, Ryan." "Only if they can prove it was us." He pulled out 2 brand new laptops, still in boxes. "Bought with cash. We'll use public Wi-Fi, route everything through VPNs, spoof the IP addresses. By the time their IT department figures out what happened, the damage will be done and the trail will be ice cold." I should have said no. The lawyer part of my brain was screaming that this was conspiracy, unauthorized access, a dozen different felonies. But the daughter part of my brain, the part that watched Mom waste away while Dad fucked her best friend, didn't care. "When do we do it?" I asked. Ryan checked his calendar. "Dad's got a big company retreat this weekend. All the executives will be there. Saturday morning, they have a keynote session, 8 a.m., every VP on stage, presentation broadcast to the entire company." "Perfect." "We do it Friday night, upload everything, schedule the emails to go out Saturday morning at 7:55 a.m., right before he walks on stage." I took a deep breath. Let's ruin his life. Friday, 11 p.m. Ryan and I were set up in a 24-hour coffee shop 40 minutes from our neighbourhood. 2 cash-purchased laptops, free public Wi-Fi, hoodies up, sitting in the back corner. "Ready?" Ryan asked. My hands were shaking. "Ready." He logged into Dad's company account using the cloned credentials. We were in. First, we created a folder on the company's shared drive, titled it Ethics Concern, VP Michael Harrison, Urgent. Inside, we uploaded everything. Every email between Dad and Claire spanning 8 years, every photo, every credit card receipt, every hotel booking, every text message screenshot. We created a PDF timeline laying out the affair month by month, showing how it overlapped with Mum's illness and death. We included Technova's ethics policy with the relevant sections highlighted: conduct unbecoming of a company officer, misuse of company resources, behaviour that damages company reputation. We made it airtight, professional, damning. Then came the emails. Ryan had pulled the email addresses for Technova's entire employee directory, all 40,000. We drafted the message carefully. Subject: ethics violation by VP Michael Harrison. Evidence attached to all Technova employees attached. You will find documented evidence that VP of Operations Michael Harrison has engaged in an 8-year extramarital affair, including during his late wife's terminal illness. This affair involved misuse of company resources, email, equipment, travel expenses, and represents conduct that violates Technova's core values of integrity and ethical behaviour. This information is being shared to ensure transparency and accountability at all levels of leadership. The evidence speaks for itself. We set it to send at 7:55 a.m. Saturday. Then we sent a separate email to the ethics hotline, the board of directors, and the head of HR. Same evidence, same timeline, but we weren't done. Ryan pulled up the company's internal social network, basically their version of Facebook for employees. One more thing, he said. He created a post set to go live at the same time as the emails. Integrity isn't just a value we list on our website. It's something we should expect from our leaders. Vice President Michael Harrison has violated that trust. The evidence is now in your inbox. Decide for yourselves what kind of company we want to be. Posted anonymously, untraceable. By 1 a.m., everything was scheduled, uploaded, and set. We packed up the laptops, drove to 3 different dumpsters across the city, and disposed of them in pieces. Then we went home and waited. Saturday morning, I woke up at 7:30. Couldn't sleep. Too much adrenaline. Ryan called me at 7:52. It's about to go out, he said. I know. Are you okay? I thought about that. Was I okay? I was about to blow up my father's entire life, publicly, brutally. Yeah, I said. I'm okay. 7:55 a.m. The email's sent. My phone stayed silent, but I knew across the city 40,000 phones were lighting up. I imagined Dad in his hotel room at the executive retreat getting dressed for the keynote, straightening his tie, checking his notes, probably texting Claire good morning. I imagined him walking down to the conference hall, smiling, shaking hands, ready to present the quarterly results. And then I imagined the first phone buzzing, then another, then another. By 8:15 a.m., my phone started ringing. My aunt, Mum's actual sister. Did you see what someone sent about your father? A family friend. Honey, there's something going around online about your dad. I think it might be fake, but a former co-worker of Mum's. Please tell me this isn't real. I didn't answer any of them. Ryan called at 8:47. It's everywhere, he said. Company message boards are exploding. Someone already leaked it to Twitter. There's a hashtag trending, #TechNovaScandal. What about Dad? His LinkedIn profile is getting flooded with comments. People are tagging the company's official accounts. The PR team is in meltdown mode. Someone posted a screenshot of their internal Slack and they're freaking out. I felt a smile pulling at my lips. Good. At 9:30, Dad called me. I stared at his name on my screen. Declined. He called again. Declined. Then a text. Answer your phone right now. Another text. Someone hacked my accounts. This is a nightmare. I need your help. I blocked his number. He called Ryan. Ryan blocked him too. By noon, the local news had picked up the story. Tech executive caught in ethics scandal. Affair exposed to entire company. By 3 p.m., Dad had been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. By Sunday morning, he'd been asked to resign. By Sunday afternoon, Claire's photo was all over social media. People who'd known Mom were commenting, sharing, expressing their disgust. Her employer, she worked in HR, ironically, started getting calls. She was fired by Monday. Dad tried to come to Ryan's apartment on Sunday night. Ryan refused to let him in. He tried my place. I pretended I wasn't home. He sent emails, long, rambling justifications, apologies, excuses. I never meant to hurt anyone. Your mother knew on some level. I was weak and lonely. Claire and I really do love each other. Delete, delete, delete. By Tuesday, the company had completed their internal investigation. Dad was officially terminated for ethics violations and misuse of company resources. His stock options, worth close to $2 million, were forfeited. His reputation was obliterated. And Claire. She'd tried to weather the storm, but by Wednesday, her name was so toxic that she deactivated all her social media and, according to a mutual acquaintance, was planning to move out of state. They'd both gotten exactly what they deserved, and Ryan and I never left a single fingerprint. 3 weeks after everything imploded, Dad showed up at Mum's grave. Ryan and I were there. We visited every Sunday, brought flowers, talked to her. We saw his car pull up. Should we leave? I asked. Ryan shook his head. No, he doesn't get to chase us away from her. Dad approached slowly. He looked terrible, unshaven, rumpled clothes, eyes bloodshot. I knew I'd find you here, he said quietly. We didn't respond. I know it was you two, he continued. I don't know how you did it, but I know. Ryan crossed his arms. We have no idea what you're talking about. Don't lie to me, please. I've lost everything, my job, my savings. Claire left me. She couldn't handle the pressure. I've got nothing. Good, I thought. Good. I know you're angry, Dad said, his voice breaking. I know I hurt you. I hurt your mother. But what you did, destroying my career, humiliating me in front of 40,000 people. Stop, I said quietly. He paused. I stepped forward. You don't get to do this. You don't get to play the victim. I'm not. Yes, you are. You're standing at Mum's grave, talking about what we did to you. You betrayed her for 8 years while she was dying. I loved your mother. No, you didn't. My voice was shaking now, tears spilling over. You loved the idea of her, the devoted wife, the perfect family. But the second things got hard, the second she got sick, you ran straight into the arms of her best friend. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Dad? Explain it to me. Explain how you sat next to her hospital bed, held her hand, told her you'd love her forever, and then went home and fucked Claire. He flinched. Explain how you looked us in the eyes at her funeral and cried about losing your soulmate when you'd already replaced her. I made mistakes. You made choices, Ryan cut in. Hundreds of them. Every hotel room, every lie, every time you deleted a text message or cleared your call history. Those were choices. And we made a choice too, I added. We chose to make sure everyone knew exactly who you are. Not the grieving widower, not the devoted executive, the cheater, the liar, the man who valued his own comfort over his dying wife's dignity. Dad's face crumpled. I'm your father. You were our father, Ryan said coldly. Now you're just the man who destroyed our family. Dad looked at both of us, tears streaming down his face. So that's it? I've lost my job, my reputation, and now my children? I wiped my own tears. You lost us the moment you chose her over Mom. We just made sure you lost everything else too. He stood there for a long moment, then turned and walked back to his car. We watched him drive away. Ryan put his arm around my shoulders. You okay? I looked down at Mum's headstone. Fresh flowers. Her name etched in granite. Catherine Marie Harrison, beloved mother, devoted nurse, forever in our hearts. Yeah, I said, I'm okay. And I was, because justice isn't always served by the courts or karma. Sometimes it's served by two angry kids with the skills, the evidence, and the will to burn down the lie their father built. People always say revenge doesn't bring peace. But here's the thing, sometimes it does. Not because seeing someone suffer makes you feel better, but because holding people accountable, refusing to let them rewrite history, standing up for someone who can't stand up for themselves anymore, that brings peace. Dad wanted to move on, to erase his betrayal, to start fresh with Claire and pretend the past never happened. We made sure he couldn't. We made sure that everyone who ever knew him would know the truth. And honestly, I sleep better now than I have in years. So that's the story of how my brother and I hacked our father's company, exposed his 8-year affair to 40,000 employees, and watched his entire life collapse in a single weekend. If this story gave you chills, if you felt that satisfying rush of justice, smash that like button right now. Drop a comment telling me, have you ever gotten revenge on someone who deserved it? Or do you think we went too far? And if you want more stories like this, real-life revenge, justice served, and people getting exactly what they deserve, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because trust me, we're just getting started. Thanks for watching. And remember, karma might take its time, but sometimes you can be the karma.